sit here. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool. I thought you were gonna sit here because the edge was gonna be better for you.
No, it's cool.
I would have said
Cheyenne doesn't make good decisions.
Well, we don't make all this bad. We're on camera.
Yeah, let this be the start.
Show your Monica.
I refuse.
Do it.
I will not.
My house, my rules.
No! I don't want to.
She's a Rick and Morty fan, guys.
Yes!
That's who she is. She chose that cup instead of the.
I'm not interacting
normal
with
cup.
this. Stop slandering me.
Slander. Wow.
I can't believe you would punish me and yet put my salvation in front of me and so far out of my reach.
Listen.
You're a terrible person. Okay, so I have a question.
Sure.
Can Black people culturally appropriate? I mean, the answer is obviously yes, but like I haven't seen any like examples of it yet.
Cultural appropriate from where? Because like yes, I know people like when Black people do like Native American stuff. I've been told by someone who's not African, but like he doesn't like it when he sees like Black people wearing dashikis and stuff, which is
Oh yeah, that's a big one for me. I always found it funny how African Americans tend to pan-Africanize everything and they just wear it.
Listen, as someone who is African American, I understand it.
It's kind of like you're trying to reconnect to your ancestors, but there's a whole ass difference between African American and African, and it's just like my ancestors are from Africa too,
But you're Haitian, you have that culture, you know what you came from, and you were taught Haitian history in school, were you not?
yeah.
Most Black people are not taught African history in school, like, or African American history. We don't know about what we've done in America. All we see, we are taught is white people's accomplishments. We don't have a connection to anything Black, and we're often told that we don't have a culture as African Americans, that there is only the white American culture.
But African American culture is amazing and great and one of innovation.
But if everything you're taught about your own culture, everything that you think about it is that it's bad, that it's like not good, that you're taught that it's ghetto, that it's ugly, that it's not something you should be proud of. All you can be proud of is where you come from in like the larger sense, which is Africa. So of course they want a connection to that. And a lot is lost. We don't have history. We don't have, I don't know the word for it, but like we really don't have
Roots.
We don't have the roots. We don't have like a consciousness that we can kind of connect to in that same way as a whole. And so a lot of Black people latch onto Africa in whatever ways they can, and it's not right for us to be like wearing dashikis and stuff. But like we don't, like a lot of people, like white people, they can like be like, oh yeah, my family's from Britain and from Spain and from blah 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 blah.
Oh, okay.
And like we don't have that. Like we're just, my family, we can barely go back a few generations. Like I know where my grandma was born in like Georgia, and her family's from like North Carolina. Maybe like it's not something that we talk about really, because before that, my grandma was raised during segregation. So her parents before that were like earlier segregation, but before that was slavery. Literally, my last name is the name of a slave owner.
So here's the thing. So you're saying that like, okay, so I understand that, but also on the other hand, as a person who made the conscious decision to be African American rather than have it shoved upon me as a label, I always chose to be African American because it was like a point of pride for me that I was Haitian first, and then I was Black, and then I was African American, because like I've never seen, well, that's not true. That's not true. Because I have seen being African American as a bad thing, because my parents have inherent biases against other Black people and against other Haitian people, and I've had to unlearn those biases all the time. But like once I chose to be African American, I chose it as a form of freedom. Like I was free from like because in Haiti, ancestry is not a big thing, but it's always listen to your elders. And once I chose to be African American, it was a freedom for me, because like while you guys don't have that history that you think you're lacking, it also means that you're free, because I think for me, African American history is one of like constantly freeing yourselves, because yeah, we were slaves and yeah, we were like oppressed, but no matter what, we always got back up and fought for our rights and fought for more.
And that is fair, but at the same time, like you said, we don't have that history. I can't go too far back in my dad's side of the family.
I can't either,
but
like you realize I only know my grandmother and there are no paper records after that.
I know, but like you at least have your Haitian culture. You have something that you can tie to in some way. A lot of what is considered black culture, that's not like jokes, you know, like, oh, black culture is those little beads, or you know, it's those shoes that your the cook wears at the barbecue. Black culture, a lot of the times is tied with southernness. So you know, like southern foods, southern hospitality, that kind of stuff. But it's nothing really tangible. And if you don't live in the South, or you're not tied to that southernness, then you don't have a lot. Especially like if you like say California or New York, you know, places that are more recently becoming blacker, you have a completely different culture than black Southerners.
I think you should take New York out of the equation because Harlem is a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. But again, that's like the 20s, like the farthest back that black culture in New York goes is pretty much like kind of the 20s. And it's like, it's weird. We're so fragmented across the country, you know, like with different experiences that like there's some similarities and some singularities, but I don't think that black culture is the same for all Americans. And
because
of course,
I hate when people approach it like that, because black culture is not a monolith.
It
Because
isn't.
we don't say Caucasian culture, because they're just like,
I know,
what is
the thing
Caucasian culture? The slavery?
That's the thing. They're not just Caucasian. They're Italian American. They're British American. They can go back to different things. Black people cannot in that same way, and that's why we latch onto Africa. And there is a lot of pain that comes with being black in America. Like I have this longing for Africa that I can't really explain. I mean, like, emotional because it really does hurt sometimes. Like, sometimes see people going to Africa, like black Americans going to Africa, and like seeing them experience that. It's painful because I don't think I'll ever be able to experience that. And that like connection to like a homeland, to something other than being descended from slaves, it's something that we lack. And I know that like everyone, like most black people all across the world are descended from slaves, but they also have something else. They've kind of created their own thing. But time after time after time, black Americans, whatever else they tried to make was taken away from them. It was stolen from them, and still they're not kind of getting a space to just be. And that's where the push for like Pan-Africanism comes from for at least black Americans, is because they don't have a lot to hold on to in the US, because the US doesn't want us. We kind of don't want to be here. Like we don't know anything else, so that's why a lot of people stay. But if everything that is being told to you is that like go back to where you come from, we don't want you, you're bad, you're ugly, your whole like everything about you is not worth holding on to, then you have to search for something, and that usually is Africa.
I can get that.
Yeah.
To answer your original question, though.
Anyway,
My nose is like.
I was gonna say, do you have to grab the tissue box?
okay, so then that's the African American perspective on it. How do you feel about it as an Indian American, like dealing with history and conflating Indian and Americanism?
Okay, are we still talking about your original questions where can black people appropriate other cultures? Or, oh, yeah. There's like a few examples of it where it was like, I think a black girl on Twitter was dressed up as like Pocahontas or something. And, and it was just like,
even God, but why?
and like, you know, she looked pretty, but they were just like, hey, don't do this, especially because Pocahontas is based on a real person. And you know, it happens, but I don't know, it's not like, there's a difference, I feel like, between
That's
people doing
why.
it.
That's why I wanted to talk about the power imbalance of it, because so when it's white people dressing as Pocahontas, it's like, yo, this is bad because you basically genocided most Native Americans. And that's not cool. But when a black person is doing it, I feel like a lot of the times, as a black person who culturally appropriates, we get a pass because it's just like it's not that we get a pass. It's more like I don't know how to word this properly.
It's not taking us seriously.
Yeah, it's like we didn't oppress people.
Right.
So obviously when we make mistakes, it's just, oh, it's a mistake and not something intentional. But whereas when white people like culturally appropriate, they're villainized for it. And like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like, I'm not saying you shouldn't tell people when they're doing something wrong, but also like the discrepancy of the reactions is always so weird to me, because like we've all heard and seen the examples of like white people culturally appropriating, but then here's something that's been bothering me in recent years is the constant black cultural appropriation of other nations after they've seen white people do it. Like, for example, K-pop. Like, the main reason I got out of K-pop was the constant racism on top of the cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one of the big things that became like really big in Korean pop was like having a rapper. Like, you had a main member that was a rapper, and like there were some discrepancies that they were like tanner than everybody else, and their voices were deeper, and I was just like, yo, like
that's one thing I also noticed. I don't listen to K-pop or like any kind of K music. I listen to some K-rap, mostly it's just like Psy. But I listen to J-rock, and I noticed some
J-Park or
no J-rock, like Japanese rock.
Okay, my bad. I thought that was like an artist, but
no. So like in J-rap, again, a lot of times they do have like the deep voices and like, yeah, I'm hard, what's up, kind of stuff.
And they just like throw in the most random English words. And one time I was listening to this dude, and the entire song was in Japanese, and then just somewhere in there was the word nigga, and it was just I had to stop and go look up the lyrics. I had to be like, is this like
nigga was a nigga? Because
it's
like,
not. I know there's a word that's nigga, which means I and shit like that in Korean or Japanese. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just that word. Maybe I'm just being like too sensitive. But I worried and looked at the lyrics, and most of the lyrics were in Japanese, with the exception of when he used English just to say nigga. And I was just like, yo, why do you have to do that?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
First on the part about black people appropriating, yeah, black people do appropriate, like Nicki Minaj with her kimono stuff.
Chun-Li pissed me off so much.
I wasn't sure about that because I know she has some Asian like ancestry stuff, but at the same time I was just like,
you don't get to put on Asian ancestry as a costume.
But like, then at what point do we turn into like gatekeepers, you know, especially if we're not part of that ethnicity, you know?
Valid.
I have taken a DNA test. Turns out, no, I'm kidding. I am only 80-something% of African descent. I have like, I think 13, some European. I have some Asian, some Indian, and some Native American.
That's why the slavery comes in. By the way, if we're if we're talking about this, my favorite group of people who have just the most variety of ancestry is Jamaican people, because it's like they have British, Chinese, Japanese, and black going on all in there.
Same with Haitians too.
Oh God, no, you don't understand. It's not the same, because Jamaicans are proud to be like, oh yes, I'm something other than black, but Haitians are just like, hey, I'm 100% Haitian, and you can never take that away from me.
True.
And I think it's because, okay, so I love my people. I just want to put that out there before I badmouth them. I love my people, but we're also like a really fucking weird country. Like, at some point, one of our kings, post-slavery, basically went, if you live in Haiti and you decide to stay in Haiti, you're black. Like, you're not anything else, you're just black. And we all just went along with that. And here's the thing. I didn't understand the concept of white people until I was 8 years old.
America.
It wasn't even that. Because, okay, so I got got exposed to Western culture a lot. I watched Batman the animated series.
Love that.
I watched the Stepford Wives. I watched Pokemon, and I was just like, oh hey, look at all these flavors of black that are not black. And then I came to America, and I was made to understand that. Okay, so first of all, you're black, and I was just like, yes, obviously. And then here are these non-black people. I was just like, what do you mean non-black people? Can there be anything else other than black people? And I was just like, yo, I've seen people with pale ass skin in Haiti, and they're just like, oh yeah, this is black, but this is a very specific type of black.
Right.
And here I came here, people were just like, no, there's white people. And I was just like, oh, you mean slave owners? And they're like, no, we mean white people. And I was just like, yo, there's so much going on. I don't understand. Because you don't understand, like, the way I was raised, it wasn't as race critical as we are in America. Because I was just like, I'm surrounded by black people of like, from pale to black as night. And that's okay, because we're all black. But then I came here and everyone's just like, oh yeah, I'm white. And not only am I white, I'm 8% Belgian, 8% French, 8% Italian. And I was just like, shut up, you're white. I understand that you want culture, but like, it's already confusing to me that you're white. And that's what I had to like grow up with and decide like, how much am I gonna put up with? Where do I draw the line in the sand?
I think one thing that's interesting about America and our relationship to race, that was the most real about it. I feel like Europeans, Australians, New Zealanders, they like to act like they're not as racist as they are. At least Americans upfront about it. I feel like I appreciate that.
But I mean, that's our American perspective, right?
No, like people of color in Europe and those places were like, nah, it's racist here. And other white Europeans were like,
it's like a light type of racist. It's like a light type of racist where a person comes up to you and is just like, oh my god, I love your exotic look. And you're just sitting there like,
it's not
really
even that, like sometimes it's like blatant stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And it's like, also, Europeans are also weirder when it comes to race because, you know how like back in America, like in the early days, if you're like or Italian or Jewish, you were not considered white.
Depending on the date and where your ancestors immigrated from.
Yeah,
like for example, in World War II, it was bad to be Italian, and then before that, it was bad to be Irish.
So Europe is still like that in some respects as well. And so like especially like with the Romani people, they are not considered white, and they are like openly discriminated against in many European countries. Like literally, they'll be like, you know how they used to put like no Irish, no black need apply, that kind of stuff. You still get that kind of stuff for Romani people in Europe and a lot of places. So like, I do not lynch Romani people. You do not work here if you're Romani. But they still don't see that as racist. Oh, if they're not racist, they're past that. But America at least is very, very open about how racist they still are, and I appreciate that about us.
Okay.
Hi, we're the Rainbow Brigade. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed what you just saw.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos.
And don't forget to comment below. You know, we want to hear what your experience is, what you think about it.
The Rainbow Brigade is also on other social media platforms. Our links will be in the description box down below, and we would be very happy to interact with you in other spaces.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.